Hi everyone, Thomas here and welcome back to another video. So today I'm back here for another speed build, and today we're going to go ahead and create this home called Willowhill Mansion. So I'm really happy how this turned out, and it's probably one of the biggest builds I've ever done, and I'm so happy with it. It is up on the gallery now, so make sure you head over there. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1 if you'd like to go ahead and download this for yourself. Now it is a 50 by 50 lot as well. It comes in just over 650,000 I think, which is quite pricey. And I think it has 5 bedrooms and 4 bathrooms, if I'm not mistaken. That might be wrong, I can't exactly remember, it's something around that, because I did this a few days ago and I'm doing the voiceover a few days later, so I'm kind of a little bit all over the place in what I'm going to be talking about, because I literally cannot remember, but it will come to me when we get to that particular point. And yeah, so this is called Willowhill Mansion. Now the idea came about from, since this is in Willow Creek, I really struggled actually to try and find a name for this, because I was going to call it Traditional Mansion, but I actually have done a Traditional Mansion before, which was actually a collab with the Sim Cache, but I didn't build that from scratch, but she actually built it out of the interior. So, I didn't want to go ahead and, repeat that name. I suppose there would be nothing wrong with that, but I kind of just needed to do something a little bit different. And you may have seen recently, I have been trying to do some more, like for house builds, I have been doing more of kind of like actual names for them, not just like what style it is. So like traditional family home, bohemian family, whatever it is. I just like to do, because I like to do traditional builds a lot, so I feel like if I'm going to be doing those a lot, then try and like calling every single build traditional family home, it will be a little bit weird. So I'm just trying to find some more in like house names to use for every now and again for builds that I'm kind of repeating myself on and what type of furniture it is, which is nothing wrong with that. But so this is called Willowhill Mansion. Hill, I don't really know why, probably because it's next to a hill sort of, because that house above it, where the Spencer Kim Lewis household lives, is this in the same world? No, it's not, because that's actually the lot I did my build battle with Spring Sims on, and I don't know, this is a different game save. Anyway, so this took me 6.5 hours to do, which is absolutely crazy. I was starting to lose the will to live when I got into the interior, because a lot of the things with these interior finishings is that they are quite repetitive, because it's like a big house, and there isn't like a million one things you can do, so it got a little bit repetitive, but I finished it in the end 6.5 hours later. When I put it into my into Sony Vegas to edit, like I said, 6.5 hours. I think I got it down to about like 4 hours or something. No, that can't be right. No, I can't. I think it was only like an hour and a half or something. I can't remember, something around there. And then I managed to cut out all the boring bits to get it down to just under half an hour. So this voiceover is going to be pretty long. But I've got some other things to talk about as well than other just a build. So don't worry, it's not going to be the most boring voiceover ever. And I'm hoping that we'll all be able to stick around till the end, where I'll have some screenshots as well. So that's one thing I get comments about all the time is, please stop cutting out all these parts of the build. Now, I do it because I hate having to go over into a 2-part video. Now, I've never done that before, but I see so many people commenting on people who do like 2-part videos, and I see the comments like, oh, I hate these, please don't do it again. So I'm like, I really don't want to avoid that. No, I said I don't want to avoid that. I do want to avoid that. There we go. And the mess today. I'm recording this voiceover in the morning, which is always a bad mistake. It literally never goes well, because I've got that morning croaky voice after my coffee. I don't know if you notice this, but your voice kind of goes really dry after coffee, so that's why I don't really do voiceovers, but sometimes I've just got to do what I've got to do, and at the morning, right now, is the only time I can do it, so, because I'm home alone, and I hate having to do voiceovers when I'm, like, other people in the house, because I'm, like, I just feel like I can't really be myself. I mean, because, well, I could, but, like, I don't want to be loud, because then people will start listening in, and I feel like I can hear them, and then I'll be, like, all quiet. Well, funny thing is, I think some people know this, but my parents don't actually know what my channel is. They know I do videos and stuff, and they know I talk too fast because they can hear me talking too fast. But only my sister knows my actual channel name. So yeah, and she watches other YouTubers and stuff, so she understands that thing about wanting to be a little bit more secret, so she doesn't tell them. And she always helps me sometimes when, like, she'd be upstairs and she'd be, like, guarding the door. This sounds so stupid, but she'll be in her room, but he'll leave her door open. So when she hears somebody coming up the stairs, she can come into my room, burst open the door and just go, oh, Thomas, this is, and then just try to distract me from, like, my parents hearing the voiceover. I don't know what it is, I just cannot, like, just don't want them to know about my channel. It's kind of, like, really embarrassing, but I know you shouldn't be embarrassed about your videos, and I'm not really. It's kind of just, I don't know, just because what they'll probably do is we'll be sitting like watching TV one night, and then they'll probably get the iPad out and put my videos on or something to embarrass me or something, or play it really loudly, which they have done before, and with my old channel. So, you know, once they come, like when they find out, it'll be fine. But you know, just if I can avoid it, then I will avoid it. I mean, they do know, like I said, they make videos and stuff. You know, I don't know really how to put this without like sounding weird. Like they know that I make money from it, and they've seen like my bank statement and stuff with the money on. But like, I'm not going to talk about that anymore because I hate talking about money. I don't know what it is with the YouTube money thing. I literally make nothing, but like it's always weird to talk about, and everybody agrees on that, I think. But yeah, anyway, moving on from that. So yeah, so my sister helps me out sometimes by trying to make them not come in my room when I'm doing voiceovers and stuff. So thanks to Kate for that. And yeah, so we're just working on the landscaping right now, and I'm really, really happy how this turned out as well. It is, well, you know what, once I started doing this house, like when I got up to like this point, sort of, maybe a little bit before that, I was kind of like, I really wish I did this on a 64x64 lot. I know that you probably think, well, Thomas, why on earth would you want to do that and give yourself all that extra work? But like, I really wanted more like space to do landscaping. I felt like there wasn't enough landscaping, and I know that sounds really weird because like, of course, it is like lots of landscaping here, but I feel like for this sort of like really grand traditional style home, having like big gardens and everything, I thought would be really, really great for this. So I'm kind of regretting doing it, and I kind of wanted to switch, like once I got up, like just before this point, I really wanted to just switch that over to a 64x64 and then go ahead and expand it from there. But then I was like, that's going to get messy because, you know, as you can see, we've got freezers on and stuff, so that'll get, you know, taken off and I have to go back and replace them. It's just that, like, kind of all summer long, I've been wanting to do, like, a big build like this, so it's, like, it's always something being put off as well, because I'm like, oh, I can't be bothered to sit there for, like, 6 hours doing a big build. But once you do it, it's so rewarding. Like, you're thinking, I built this huge big thing, and to be honest, this was not hard at all, like, at all. Like, I thought I would struggle with it, I thought I'd make a mess of the roofing and everything. But honestly, I was really surprised how easy it was to build a house of this size. I don't know what it's probably, well, it's kind of simple in its shape actually, because I've done how much of this I like added in at the beginning, but when I was kind of like doing the shaping of the house and stuff and adding in the rooms, you would have seen I literally just got the room tool and just dragged out the rooms, and that's kind of what made those things at the front, as you can see. So that's like literally it. Like, it's so simple, and I feel like everybody says, you know, you just start off with boxes and build from that, but at the same time, when I do that, it always turns out to be really simple still. So I never really use that kind of technique. I always kind of, you know, do that thing. I don't know what the tool is called, but when you click your wall tools and you've got all those ones, you can build a single wall, you've got the room tool, and you've also got that one where it's kind of like, this is the same with the pool tool as well, you can do it, where you kind of like click on a point, and then you move your mouse to another point, and then another point, and another point, and join them up like that. I always do that method, because I feel like it makes it really, really more interesting, I think, to look at. So I always like to do that method instead. But I mean, sometimes it can make it really complex, and it's always hard to do the roofing, but you know, that's kind of why I avoided it for this build. So it's kind of more neat, I guess you could say, in terms of the shape of the house, in terms of like, you know, symmetrical and everything, and it's the same size on each side of the house. There's also that little garage on the side there, which I was actually going to put on the second, like the other side of the house as well, to make it like symmetrical, but I did that, I cut out the video because it took me too long to try and play around with that, but I put it in and I just didn't like it. I don't know what it was, it seemed too much for the size of the lot. Maybe if it was a you know, a 64x64 lot, then maybe that would have been okay. And I also did a 2-story one as well. So you see that garage there? Imagine that with another garage on top of it, and those 2 floors on the other side of the house. It just was too much. So I just went ahead and left it off the other side. But still, I'm really, really happy how it turned out. I'm still kind of regretting not doing it on a 64x64. I feel like I could have done so much more with it. That was kind of like my one goal for the summer. Wow, that's like the extent of my goals, to build a mansion. But you know, it's just something I've always been wanting to do, and during school time I never have time to do it. And you know, I always see Hatsy doing these huge big like castles and everything. I'm like, why can't I do that? And she literally kind of like pull them out like in a second. Like, that's a bit of an exaggeration, but she kind of puts them out like, you know, within a few days of each other. She can have another castle built. I'm like, how do you do this? So you know, I'm still really happy with it anyway. And yeah, so we're just working on the floor plan here now. I do get questions about this asked all the time about flooring, like doing the floor plans and stuff. So I try to leave in as much as sorry, I hit my pop filter. Do that at least once every video. I try leaving as much as I could with the floor plan without it getting a little bit too boring, because it did take me a while to figure everything out. But I just wanted to really focus on not making the halls, like the hallways, as big, because that's something I always do. And there was also this really awkward room, like behind the stairs there, as you can see, at the front of the house. Like, if you think where the hallway is downstairs, like the porchway, the room, like, right above that, it was really, really hot. I had to make another, like, hallway to go to that. It was so weird to look at, but that was kind of the only way. Probably an easier way to do it, but that was kind of the only way I could think of it. And yeah, so really like the master bedroom, actually. It's literally like the same size as the living room below it. The master bedroom kind of takes half of the upstairs. It's kind of got its own little, like, quarters, I guess, because when you come up the stairs, there's, like, you go turn left, and there's actually, like, little hallway things, like, little seating area, and then 2 doors going, one to the, you know, the actual bedroom, and there's also another door going to the bathroom there, which is really big, the bathroom. Probably made it a little bit too big. It was actually kind of hard to decorate, but anyway, we're just working on kind of like the wallpapers and stuff. I did cut most of this out because I literally spent probably 20 minutes trying to find a wallpaper. I was kind of like, do I go for this kind of more traditional style one? But I was kind of like, I don't know how I feel about it. It looks a little bit odd, I thought. And then I don't know. So I went with the modern one, and I don't know what you feel about that, but like kind of the painted one that I went for. It's kind of like, I don't know, like I said, I don't know if I mentioned this at the start, because I've done this voiceover like 5 times, but I was kind of going for a thing like, okay, the owners that came into the house, they bought it, and they want to go ahead and renovate it, so they're doing all these different things, but you will still see, you know, some aspects of a traditional style furnishing, whether it be with, you know, the fireplace and things, and the curtains. The curtains are the most extensive thing of traditional in this house. No, not really, but, you know, just with sofas and things, there's some, like, odd things you'll see around the house, and you'll see that, but a lot of it is renovated. Now, another thing I did use in this house, actually, was a lot of items from City Living, because I felt like with that kind of thing about, you know, renovating it, a lot of the items from City Living actually are, you know, have a modern style to it, and I thought it looked really interesting, and kind of add that to that modern thing I was trying to go for. So I went ahead and used that, and I feel like I use City Living in every single one of my builds. So if you want to go ahead and download them, I think City Living is always a good pack to have, so you can go ahead and make sure, you know, you can fit everything in, and everything loads well. And, yeah, so another thing, actually, talking of packs, today is actually, well, the 22nd of August, I record this voiceover, but yesterday, the Sims 4 Cats and Dogs expansion pack trailer was revealed at Gamescom, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so excited about it. Hang on, sorry, I left my speakers on, I could hear the background music. Anyway, so, really happy with it. It's, oh my god, I'm so happy that it's finally here. And there's been lots of speculation about it, but I'm so happy that we're finally is, you know, official. And yeah, it was actually leaked on Twitter, which was a real big shame, because it was actually, like, the trailer for it was leaked early, which I was kind of like, oh, like, I just wanted to, you know, wait for the actual announcement. But you know what? It was only like 30 minutes early. Like, it's not really a big deal. And yeah, so I'm really happy with it. Let me know in the comments section down below. Like, we're going a little bit off topic here, but, you know, let me know about what you think of it. Do you think it's good? Are you going to buy it? What do you think about it? Just leave all your thoughts there. I know there was a few things revealed that some people weren't very happy with, about, you know, the colour wheel only being for pets, and also they're not being controllable, the actual pets themselves, which, you know what, I'm not really bothered about. I'm just so grateful that we'll have a new expansion pack. You know, just with, well, to be honest, with any pack I get, I'm always happy with it. Because, you know, the Sim Gurus, well, not just Sim Gurus, but, you know, Sim staff always put their best efforts into everything, and I'm really happy with all of the things we've got so far at the Sims 4. I know a lot of people aren't very are disappointed with it, in some aspects of it, but, you know, I've said this a lot, but I'm not really, like, before The Sims 4, I wasn't really a Sims fan that much. I had The Sims 3 since, like, 2011, but I've mentioned this a lot, like, I've told this story a lot, but I've never really got into it properly, until, like, 2014, which is actually kind of a long time, and then I kind of really got into it then, and that's kind of where I found out about The Sims 4, not until 2015, actually, I found out about The Sims 4, well, I kind of knew about it, I think, I don't know whose video it was that I found out about The Sims 4, but yeah, so I'm kind of not a really hardcore Sims fan as everybody else, but, you know, I still have been playing for quite a long time, and, yeah, and also, well, that's actually, I think I played before too. I had the Sims 2 Pets on my Nintendo DS, and I saw that somebody playing it the other day, like on a video or something, and I was like, it just made me think about it. I haven't played that in such a long time. I don't even know where it is, to be honest. Anyway, so just working on putting some finishings in. As you can see here, that thing right on the wall there, using those wall decorations from the luxury patio stuff. I think it was from that pack. Is that the name of it? Perfect Patio. There we go. I used those kind of wall decorations from there, and I also used some of those kind of like, I don't even know what you think, so it was like 3 hanging things from it. I don't even know what they are, to be honest. I can't think what it's called, another wall decoration. And I saw somebody actually do that, putting those 2 things together, and I thought it looked really, really great. So I went ahead and did it just as a, you know, a little bit of a different decoration. Because I feel like I'm using, you know, paintings all the time, and I feel like I've got to fill up all the walls with it, and it's kind of like a little boring, and it gets a little bit repetitive after a while of just putting paintings everywhere. And you know, there's nothing wrong with actually kind of having some areas of a build a little bit blank than others, you know, not having every single wall and every corner of a room filled, which is something I always thought you had to do. But really, when I started like developing my building skills, I felt like, you know, that isn't really necessary, and I feel like sometimes it can look worse if you totally overpack a room. I mean, unless you're going for a cluttered look, but you know, I try not to do it too much, but then at the same time I go back sometimes and be like, oh, this looks a little bit too undecorated, not that great, but you know, it's not a big deal. I'm still really happy with this house. Also, another thing is, you can probably see that I didn't use those circular 150 simoleon lights that everybody uses. I went ahead and used some other ones today because I felt like it fit that kind of like traditional style a little bit more. I did actually use them once actually in this build. You all may have seen, I don't know if I put them in at this point, but in the master bedroom I did use those chandeliers from the Vintage Glamour Stuff pack, but they were a little bit darker thought, so I went ahead and added one of those circular lights above it, like directly above it, just to brighten up the room a little bit. You know, it's not really a big light, so it didn't really kind of affect the look or anything, so I just went ahead and did that to kind of brighten up the room. I know a lot of people actually do that, kind of like overlapping lights with that circular one. I think it's a really nice idea because it does add, you know, having something that looks really great in terms of a light, but it doesn't give off too much light, because those circular ones, I think in my opinion, are the brightest ones. So I do like to overlap sometimes, for especially like chandeliers and stuff. Like these lights I'm using right now, these little ones, which I got recently in a game update. You can't really do that overlapping thing because they are quite short in terms of they don't really have like a chandelier effect in them, if that makes sense. They are quite close to the ceiling, so you know, you can't do it every time, but you know, those ones are still bright, I think. And yeah, so we're working on the kitchen here. Really, really like this. I went for like a white kitchen, which I don't really do a whole lot. I did say I use neutral colour schemes a lot, and I am in this build, but going like completely white, I normally use like cream colours and stuff, but I thought it looked really nice just for a change. And as you can see there, I am using some of those backsplashes, which are the brick ones that we actually got with vampires. Now, I really, really like those things. And also the flooring, as you can see here, is also from the Vampires game pack. I feel like there's so much from that Vampires game pack that I use in other types of you know, architecture types and things, like not just that something that would fit into Forgotten Hollow, but it's also like some other things. Like I said, these flooring floorboards, I think they look actually kind of modern, especially with this grey colour swatch. I think adds to a really modern look to it, so I went ahead and used it in today's build, and I thought it looked really, really great. And yeah, so we're just working on kind of just putting in some decorations and stuff. I felt like I maybe overpacked the kitchen a little bit too much in terms of decoration, because it was a little bit, I don't know, it just felt a little bit too cramped in terms of how much I put in, because sometimes I feel with big kitchens you've got to like fill it all the way up and put everything you can in it, but sometimes it's like that isn't always a good thing because it can be somewhat, I don't know, just overcrowded and too messy. But in The Sims I feel like you've got to do that, make it well decorated, but like that point I was making earlier, not always necessary. So I did go back, I think I did that off camera. And yeah, so another thing as well, probably, you know, with all the cats and dogs excitement, another thing is that toddler stuff is actually coming out this Thursday. I don't know if this is going up after the 24th or not, but if it is, it's already came out. I do have a few videos planned, so make sure you stay tuned for that. It may be already passed, like I said, I don't know, but yeah, so I have a few ideas. I'm really, really looking forward to this pack as well, and I think it's going to be great to make some things with. So like I said, a few different ideas, and I hope to make them all, I don't know, see if I can get my building skills up to par. And yeah, so what else can I say? I don't know, we're kind of running out of ideas for stuff to you know, say here, and that's what happens, I think, with longer voiceovers. I don't really do videos longer than 20 minutes now. I've noticed that that's something that people kind of get bored with after 20 minutes, especially listening to me. So you know, I think that 20 minutes is a good cut-off point for most of my videos. Of course, there will be exceptions like today's video, but it's only a few minutes longer, I think, so that's not, too much of a big deal. And if you're sticking around, then thank you for that. Anyway, so we're just working on this bathroom down here. I think this is... there's actually two downstairs. I thought there was only one, but there's actually two. So there's this one right here, which we're just working on, which is, a slightly bigger size. And then we'll also have one, which we haven't worked on, working on right now, actually, which is this one, which is actually in this garage area, or garage, however you say it. So this is actually just a tiny little bathroom. Basically, what I thought about doing was this, with this kind of like garage area, I thought I'd maybe convert it into something, because I know a lot of people do that by actually changing their garages into a room. I know my next door neighbours have done that, so I thought it'd be nice to maybe do that. As you can see here, it still is kind of like a garage, as you can see with the wallpaper that I use and the flooring, but I did go ahead and add a few more things in that you would maybe find in a garage or a converted garage. So you can see I'm putting a few fitness equipment items in, and also put a TV up on the wall there. I don't know if you catch that, caught that I should say, I can't speak English, and also I put a darts board in there as well, which is something I never really used, to be honest, so I'm really glad I put that in. We actually have one in our garage, we have a darts board, how did I say that? Darts board, I don't know how I said that, it sounded weird. Anyway, we'll have one of those, and it's kind of like, it's really like officially set up, I would say. It's kind of got like a, I don't know what to say. What's it called again? Like, you know how you have to stand a certain distance away from the board? Well, it's kind of been measured out. We've kind of got this thing on the floor, like this metal bar where you like can't cross when you're playing. Also have like spotlights on it and everything. It's like a big thing. And doors opening on the actual dartboard itself. Yeah, so we're working on the upstairs now. As you can see, this is the master bedroom. So as you can see, it looks pretty similar to what is below it, which is the master, well, I said master living room, wow. The living room down below, it is pretty similar to that. But it does have a few different things in, of course, like a bed. Also has a vanity table in it, and also a desk, and a few other things as well. I think the downstairs one has two main seating areas, but this one is a tiny little bit smaller because it does have that bathroom attached to it as well. So it does just have one seating area. I mean, it's still quite a big seating area though. And yeah, so we're just working on kind of fixing around with the shape here. Well, not shape, like how I got the TV positioned there, because it's a pretty big one, and it was just slightly going through the roof there, and that's what happens sometimes if you have moved objects on. Sometimes you don't even realise some things that happens when I have moved objects on, until like afterwards when I'm going back to do the screenshots, I'm like, oh no. And yeah, there's actually something that happened in this build as well. There's one of those freezers that are around the outside. I don't know if that's the right word for it. Well, I know it's like, that's kind of how it's spelled, but I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. The freeze, are they? I don't know. Those things that go around, like the, between the first and the second floor outside, that white thing going around, that thing. That was actually going in the wrong, like, in the front where I've got like those kind of like balcony things on the windows. Well, those aren't functional, by the way, but it's kind of just a decoration thing. The freezers were going in there when I wanted to go over the front of it, so I had to go back after I uploaded to the gallery, took all the screenshots. Well, it's only one screenshot that I had to adjust because it was only the front of the house that you could see it. So I did have to go and remove it from the gallery, retype all the description, and retake the main screenshot of the home. But, that's alright. It could have been a lot worse. And yeah, so we're just working on this bit of the house here, which is kind of like, I would say, the master bathroom. It's absolutely massive. I did try to do something a little bit interesting with it. I think I cut it out because it took me a while to try and figure out what I was going to do. But where you see that shower, that was actually going to be where that corner bath was going to be. And I was kind of putting some, like, pillars in next to it or something. I can't even remember what I was doing. But it was kind of just too cramped to put in that next to it. So I just left the, well, I didn't even go for a corner bath. I went ahead and added in a bath in the middle of the bathroom, which is something I have done before. It was in, oh my god, I can literally not remember the house it was. I think it was in my Spanish villa build. The Spanish villa build I did with Simproved a little while ago. I think I did it in there. There's another place as well which is coming to mind and I can't think what it is. Anyway, I have done it before. Just kind of makes it look a little bit fancy, and I thought it'd be good to do that since it is the master bathroom. So, we're working on this bedroom here, which is what I was talking about earlier, which was a little bit awkward to do since it's kind of like behind the stairs, and I had to make like a kind of a large sort of hallway going to it, even though it's only going to one room. So it was a little bit odd, but I'm really happy how it turned out anyway. Also, I did go back and add in a few of those brick walls that we've got with vampires, just to, as you can see there. Also, this is the second bedroom we're working on now, well, the third one, I guess. But I did actually include that in, just thought it was nice to kind of separate it off from that kind of wallpaper that was, well, well, paint I should say, that I was using, and just kind of made it look a little bit more interesting and kind of bringing the outside wallpapers in, and I thought it looked great. So this room here is kind of just another spare bedroom, I think, not really a particular theme going for it. I did actually do a kid's bedroom this time, which is something I haven't done in a little while actually. I normally just do kind of like a pink and a blue room for like what I had in mind for a boy and a girl. Of course you can change it up how you want, but I kind of just added that in with like a double bed, kind of more of what a teenager would have in their room I think, but I haven't actually done a specific room for a kid in a long time actually, just because I find them mostly annoying to do, because there's lots of decorations you have to put in them to make them kind of look nice for a kid, so I kind of just made them like, especially for bigger builds, I like to just do that, what like I mentioned, that idea of making it look like a teenager, because I think it makes it look a little bit more cleaner I think, and especially for like a bigger builds and more luxurious type of build, it looks great. But when you think about it, if you're going to download it, then it's likely that your sim has a child, so went ahead and did this. It still has kind of like a fancy aspect to it, as you can see, has her own computer and a little TV there as well, and also looks a big dollhouse in the corner there, as you can see. And yeah, so we're nearing the end of the build here. We've just got this bedroom to do, then we'll move on to the boys' bedroom. Now for the boys' bedroom, I didn't make it a kids one, I just kind of went with that theme like I was mentioning before, of kind of like a teenager age, or could just be another spare bedroom if you want. So it's kind of got just a double bed in there, a little bit more modern style to it as well, like I was mentioning, having like a modern and traditional style furnishing. And yeah, I think that is pretty much it. I don't want to end up talking for too long here, because we're nearing the end of the video, going onto the screenshots I should say. So we're just working on here, and then we'll be pretty much finished with it. And yeah, so in the comments section down below, let me know about what you thought of this build. Is there anything you want to change for it, any feedback, because that's always really useful for me to improve my builds. If you'd like to go ahead and download it, like I said, it is up in the gallery now, so make sure you have there. My origin ID is RealThomasTV1. Make sure you leave this video with a like, share and subscribe if you haven't, and also leave some suggestions for future builds you want to see, or just videos in general. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time. Bye!